Hello, hello. We are ready. Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.
I think my husband's sleepy. I think he's sleepy. Huh?
No, I'm not sleeping.
I always say he's sleepy. All right, how are you guys doing? Hey, we're back with our happy marriage lifestyle. Hey, we want to say hello to everyone. Everyone. Let's give everybody a little chance to know that we're on here live.
Live and in color.
Live and in color. We are ready. We are ready. Hey, we want to thank you all for joining us today. We're excited that you're here today, and we're getting ready to just go ahead and get started. We just check this other equipment here and show
Hey, we want to thank you all.
we are on live here. Here we go. We're on there live. All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I know they're probably used to us being in our PJs, sweetheart, but we're not in PJs today. That plant behind me looks like it's my hair, right? Look at that. Like, what is that?
You got the spike look.
I have to sit over here so that it's not on my hair. But hey, we're so happy y'all are joining us today. We're with our Happy Marriage series, and we just want to be able to come online as a happy married couple and share our experience with you. It's in an effort to try and help you to understand that we just want everyone to have a happy marriage and to maintain a happy marriage. It's not about trying to have ourselves out there. It's just really trying to help couples to stay together. There's so much going on in the world today with these pandemic and the illnesses and the sicknesses and the tragedies that are happening. COVID is the one form of disease, babe, that I have come to realize that has married couples looking at each other kind of funny when it's come time to try and kiss each other now. You know what you get what I'm saying?
Why is that?
Because if a husband comes in and he's coughing,
Oh,
you think some of these wives are like, wait a minute.
what did he catch out there?
What did you catch? What's going on?
Taking precautions.
Yeah, I think there are. I think some of them are really like taking precaution. And this is the one thing. But listen, I want you all to have a happy marriage. And what do you want to say?
I was thinking.
What?
I said some couples are working together from home, So
Yeah, like us.
yeah,
We're working
So
from
the
home.
only way they might go out to maybe get something to eat or go walking or do something, but majority of the time they're home together.
Yeah, that's true. But then, you've got these couples that are going out, like the husband may go out to work, the wife may go out to another job. You come home, you've got to try and sanitize yourselves to keep your home clean
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. And so a lot of families are, and especially marriages, from what I've seen, a lot of them are going through a lot. There are some divorces that are coming up. I mean, and some of them are saying it's COVID related divorces and
But some, but
separations.
some are getting closer. Some, not all, divorces and
I love
separation.
that. I love that part
Some
too.
people, some couples are getting closer together because if they're working from home,
Absolutely.
they kind of get the bonding going that they didn't never had before.
Absolutely.
So
Hey, I'm in my little sweats today because we were outside in the cold today, just chilling. So we're not in our PJs today. We're not doing our bedroom chat right now, but we'll get back to the bedroom chat. We finished some work and we didn't have time to set up the bedroom camera set and everything. So we just decided let's hurry up and run in here because we don't want to skip a show. We want to try and keep this show flowing
that's
on a
right.
steady pace. So today, if most of you follow our page, you've been seeing that we were talking about happy marriages, and this topic I wanted to talk to you today is does having a happy marriage mean you have a perfect marriage? Does having a happy marriage mean you have a perfect marriage? And what's your thoughts on that?
Having a happy marriage doesn't mean you have a perfect marriage.
Mm-mm, I don't think
Things
so
things
either.
comes up and you have a few problems here and there and stuff. It's something you have to work out together as a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah.
thank God that we haven't had that no turbulence, as it said, a 5 year itch or 7 year
And we
itch.
won't.
Yeah, because we put God first in our marriage and try to do the best for each other, and just try to do what's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think having a happy marriage means you have a perfect marriage. I really don't think that any marriage is perfect. I think every
Right.
marriage has
The ups and downs.
mhm, yeah, their faults, things that they deal with. But I think every marriage that's determined to stay a happy marriage will get through those situations.
Hmm.
And they won't allow those situations to bring them to the point of divorce,
Right.
you know?
So you have to learn to live with each other,
Yeah,
because you coming from one side and your wife or your husband is coming from the other side, so you got to work to mesh, to be
exactly.
in one accord, be in
Yeah,
to be together, keep the marriage
absolutely.
together.
And it does take work. It takes work. It takes sacrifice. It
Hmm.
takes dedication. It takes respect. It takes honor. It takes all of that. And but the thing I think that most marriages that have been people who have been married for a number of years, 20, 30, 40 years or and so forth, I think the one thing that both of those people in that relationship had in common was they did not have the word divorce or want to have the word divorce in that marriage,
Hmm.
even if maybe somebody thought it or so forth. They found a way to not make the divorce
They
happen, of
say,
course.
come thick or thin, they're gonna
We're
stick it
going to
out,
stick together. So a happy
work it
marriage,
out.
exactly, a happy marriage does not mean that you have a perfect marriage. It means that you are working on perfecting your marriage,
Hmm.
but it does not mean you have a perfect marriage.
That's right.
We have to learn that. I think a lot of times some people look at other marriages, and here's what I think some young couples do. They look at other people's marriages and they say, man, this couple, they've got a great marriage. They're so good together. They're fantastic together, and her husband does this or his wife does that and so forth. And they want their marriage to have that same thing. And because they don't have that same thing, they get upset in their own marriage. And then they're like, well, now you're not happy in your marriage and you're not causing your marriage to be happy because you're not getting what the other person want. But what you should do instead of getting, looking at what they have, maybe that happiness that they have, how they're using it works for them.
Hmm.
You have to find what happiness works for you and your family.
That's right.
Like there are some things that my husband and I, don't like. Like I don't like the beach. I'm not a beach person. I don't like the beach. I don't like the water too much. And that I may not mesh with a guy who loves the ocean or something. Or maybe, it would not be something that works in our relationship. But what works in my husband and our relationship is we're land lovers. We love the land. And
Hmm.
we found what works for us. Now, even if it's something that my husband loves to do that I don't like doing, I'm still going to find a way to make it work in our marriage where I'm going to find my comfort in it, like
It's
your sports.
yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
It'd be, yeah, as you said, sports probably the only thing that we.
Yeah, because there's not a lot other than sports, but I find my way to be happy with that too.
Hmm.
But every happy marriage does not mean that you have a perfect marriage. There are some things that you're going to have to work on in your marriage. There are some conversations you're going to have within each other to talk about what is. And you're right, Holy Spirit. Here's what I think some of you all need to do, especially ladies and men. If there's something that you want your relationship to be, or you want to do in your relationship, or a thought that you have, or a conversation that you need to have in your relationship, then you need to have that conversation. Don't just sit and think about it. Why don't you verbally have that conversation with your spouse?
Hmm.
Say, babe, I was thinking, and this is what I was thinking.
Right.
I think a lot of people feel like they can't have those conversations with their spouse about what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what they would like to be doing, and so forth. Why they don't have the conversation, I don't know, but neither party is a mind reader. but just have a conversation. I would like to do this, or would you like to do that, or so forth.
Right.
Have the open conversation so that you can then have the each other will know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Open communication. My husband's not a real chatty person.
No, I'm not. Chatterbox.
Speaking of chatterbox,
get to it.
Speaking of chatterbox, we would love for you to join our podcast. We have a new podcast out. It's called the Juicy Chatterbox Podcast. You can listen to it on most major streaming platforms. It's even on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and several others. Juicy Podcast is a channel that we created so that we can give you daily inspiration and help you to motivate your day, as well as have these programs on a podcast platform, so that if you are not streaming YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or the other programs, you can listen on our podcast, the Juicy Chatterbox Podcast. We want to thank House of Noise for creating the podcast for us. They're wonderful people. They're great. If you would like to get you a platform going, ask for House of Noise. You can put that information in the Google, and I'm sure it will come up, or you can just chit chat with us, and I'll give you their information. And we also would like to thank our sponsor.
Yeah.
We're so happy to have Truth and Triumph Ministries sponsoring our program. Truth and Triumph Ministries is a ministry that cares about connecting people one to another. They believe in unity. They believe in interviewing people, and they believe in helping people to go from one part of their life to a better part of their life. Thank you, Truth and Triumph Ministry, for your sponsorship. Hey, listen, babe, let's get to our cards.
Get to the cards.
Yeah, the reason why we have our cards is because we want people to understand how to have that open communication.
Right.
So we have these cards that we purchased. They are called, they're from Ace Metaphor. I don't know if you can see that on there. I got it upside down. They're from Ace Metaphor. These are cards that's called the Tonight Let's Talk Conversation. These are couples edition. These are great cards. You can find them online. We got ours on Amazon because I love Amazon. Amazon is a gift from God.
Hey.
Amazon is a gift from God.
All right, now.
Mr. Bezos, or however you say your name. Thank you, Mr. Bezos, for creating Amazon. May God continue to bless you. And he does, because he gets a lot of my money. Hey, we've got Justin in the comments here. Hey, Justin, how are you? So glad Justin is online with us today. And Justin has a question. He says, how do you communicate when you have different communication styles or levels of interest? You're asking the right couple, Justin. The right couple. Here's why. Here's why I said he's asking the right couple. Because you and I have different communication styles.
Right.
We do. We have very different communication styles. What's your thought? I can hear your mind thinking. As a married couple, I can hear your mind thinking. What's that? Go ahead.
My couple, I'm a simple kind of person. I don't talk much, but I listen, and if there's something that needs to be discussed and talk about, I'm willing and able to do that.
Right. Here's the thing. What Justin's question is, how do you communicate when you have different communication styles and then or levels of interest? The first thing is, I believe just being yourself and communicating the way you normally would communicate is going to just let that person know how you are as a person. I don't think that we really, because Clovis and I are not the couple that's going to tell anyone to change who they are. That's not what we do. We want people to focus on being who they are all the time. And so when you say about your different communication styles, how do you communicate with someone with different communication styles? I'm a very chatty person. I can talk from sun up to sundown. I can run with the best of them.
Yeah.
And my
Yes.
husband is a very quiet.
Yeah.
And I am, when you talk about communication style, I'm a very direct person. I'm very direct. I don't know if we call it blunt, but I'm very direct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like having long conversations when they can be short conversations. So sometimes people tell me I'm too short with it.
Right.
And my husband likes to take the long way to Walmart.
Yeah.
He loves taking the long way to Walmart. And he's very detailed in his communication and his process.
Yeah, I don't want nobody to misunderstand or,
Oh my goodness.
say, oh, why you say that way? Try to
He's
take
very
the time
detailed.
and get it out the right way.
Yeah, he puts a lot of thought process
Yeah.
into what he's going to say before he says it, which is good. It's good. But me, and here's our different. I had to learn how to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that. I had to learn with him how to be patient and allow him his process.
Yeah, give me time.
I had to give him time. It was hard. It was real.
I think it's hard sometimes now. I think
It's still hard, but I do it.
Yeah, it depends on the day that you're having. Yeah, depends on your day.
It depends on my day.
How your day going?
How's my day?
Yeah.
I know. So I had to learn how to do that. And like you said, I'm still working on that, Justin. I'm still working on that communication. But what I did, I messed up one time. And this is when I learned that I have to step back. And if I don't want to hurt the man that I love, I have to learn lessons internally that I need to do. So what I did was, one time I kind of cut him off, and I was like, just say it this way. And that I know hurt him. And that's never anything that I want to do. I never want to hurt him. And when I did that, I realized that what I was doing was I was trying to make his communication style to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not fair to him, because he is his own person. And he is going to communicate the way he communicates.
Yeah.
Now, if I want to pull something out of him, because he's not a big communicator, so a lot of times I want him to have those deep conversations with me. I want him to tell me when he's hurting. I want him to tell me when he's feeling a certain way. And sometimes I have to literally pull that out of him because he keeps it so bottled up. I had to learn how to do that with him, and it took techniques. I would sit down with him sometimes, and rub his head, or, and rub his body and say, listen, how are you doing, sweetheart? Can we talk? Is there something on your mind? What's going on? I had to learn what the techniques were to get him to open up. One thing my husband didn't too much like opening up about was his background when it comes to his childhood. He wasn't a big communicator with that, because I had to learn it brings up a hurt that he was still dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes he would not want to communicate with that. But me as a wife, I want to know what your childhood was like. And so I had to learn to take that in small increments. When he was ready, he would communicate, or something would come up, or we'd go to the store and he'd see a candy. I'm sorry about all this ding ding. He would see a candy or something that he would like. I would have to, I would say, oh, is that, I would take that as an opportunity. I would take that as an opportunity to have that conversation with him. I said, oh, you had this when you were a child? What did you guys do? And then I would use that as a tool to start getting more information out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that by me trying to have him to have a communication style the way I have was wrong on my part, because he is his own person. We had to learn how to work within our communication. Now, one thing I will say, Justin, is this. When my husband, if he'll ask me something, and because of sometimes he has an accent, because he is from Jamaica, and, and sometimes he has an accent and I don't understand what he's saying, and I would ask him again, what'd you say? And he would get upset about it, and he would, not be too happy that I'm asking, what did you say? Well, I'm not understanding. And he would raise his voice when I say, well, say it again. And instead of him just saying, You know,
I gotta,
well, this is what I said.
yeah, because you said you didn't hear the first time, so
Right.
maybe I have to get another level up for you to hear or understand what I'm saying.
Right.
But you say you think I'm yelling.
But here's what he would do. When I would say, okay, like the third time, babe, I didn't hear what you said. And then he would say, well, this is what I'm saying. And then he'd raise his voice. And I'm like, no, I don't
maybe
need
not that high.
Maybe not that high. But instead of him like coming to me and saying, babe, this is what I'm saying, he would raise his tone, we'll say. And by him raising his tone, Justin, I would be like, okay, wait a minute. Are you yelling at me now? But his thought process with the communication was, I'm raising my voice so you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
But my thought process to the communication was thinking, you yelling at me. So there was a communication breakdown even with that.
Right.
So to answer Justin's questions, how do you communicate when you have different communication styles? You have to learn how to work within each other's realm.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully over time it get better.
Over time it will get better.
Mm-hmm.
And you
as you learn each other.
Learn to maneuver it.
Yeah, learn
it's
ins and outs.
It's like when you have a boat and you have the boat, we have the rowboat. You have a rowboat and you have one person on this side and one person on this side, and you're trying to row. And if you don't have it rowing together, you're just going to be going in circles.
Yeah, going.
Right. You going in circles,
yeah.
But you have to learn how to put it in sync, But then it comes a time in that rowboat where you got to turn around.
Right.
And so you can't keep going at the same pace.
Right.
The person on this side may have to do a little more, and the one on this side do a little less.
Right.
So that's the same thing when it comes to communicating and getting those communication skills together. One person at one point may have to do a little more communicating, and the other one may have to do a little less, and vice versa.
Right.
And then eventually, when you get back straight, then you both will be able to row that thing together and make it work. Okay. I hope that answered some of your question that you had there, Justin. And I love your movie and series reviews. I love it. Justin has a program on YouTube called Justin Talks. He talks about films and things. You may want to check it out. Has some more questions. All right, we got another question here. Hey, it's cousin Tammy. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Grandma. I love my grandma, Christine. Love her, love her, love her. All right, so Tammy says, Regina, we are so much alike. Yes, we are. We even look alike. We look like we're more like sisters and cousins. Can we just get to the point? I don't need all the history. Just get to the point, for crying out loud. I'm so direct. That's me. Tammy and I are the same. We're like, just say it in 3 letters or 3 words. Don't take 12 words to say 3-letter words.
Don't write a book. Right?
Don't do that. We are. But sometimes us being direct will actually get us in trouble. It sometimes get us in trouble when we're so direct with each other, and we have to learn not to allow that to happen. But I had to learn that because sometimes I'm short and I'm abrupt, and it's not that I'm trying to be mean to anybody. It's simply because I'm like, when I'm in work mode, I'm in a whole different zone.
Right.
And my mind is the same as my mouth. It goes so fast. And I have had to apologize several times about my abruptness to people.
Right.
I had. And that's part of me working and maintaining me. I've had to do that. So, so it happens.
Sure enough.
It happens. All right. So let's go here. Let's go to our cars. We want to have this car conversation. Let's do a little chit chat with you. All right. Let's go. Let's see. All right. There's one still stuck in here. All right. Why don't you do that one that was still stuck in there then? Oh.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. Let's go. Here comes the questions.
Let's see. How has our relationship changed from its beginnings?
How has our relationship changed from its beginning?
Yeah.
I don't know. Has it changed? It's a thought process. Has our relationship changed from the beginning? How would you? I don't.
Yeah, it's just changed.
How would y'all say it changed?
Should be getting better and better.
I know it has. Tammy says yes, it has. How has it changed, Tammy?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, you start out as friends, and then as years goes by, you learn more about each other, and a change take place.
Okay.
You don't think a change gonna take a place?
I think okay. I think because my mind and my thought process is we're still the same. I don't really see the change, but I guess you're right. You're absolutely right. It changes that.
Yeah,
We're more in love with each other. You know
we're
what?
more and understanding of each other
Oh my
too.
gosh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We have
Yeah.
more of a comfort with each other
Right.
because I think during our marriage, the first few years, we were both almost walking on eggshells because you had
You
gone
just
through
learn. Yeah, we're just trying to learn each other. Yeah.
right, right, and you had gone through, a bad divorce. I had gone through a divorce, and we, cared so much about each other that we did not want to hurt each other's feelings,
Mm-hmm.
especially. And so we wanted to make sure that each other were comfortable. And so it took kind of like almost like us walking on eggshells. So that's kind of the way I felt. And then after a while, like we said, we just got comfortable
with each other.
with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay, we're fine with it.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem. We're good. We're good. Yeah, okay. We're good with it. All right. So let's see our next question. What's your biggest dream? Oh, this is a good one. What's your biggest dream, and how can I help make it a reality?
My biggest dream.
Yes. This is how you get your man to open up. You have these questions.
Maybe.
Let's talk. Have these questions.
My biggest dream is to be. I need to be a millionaire first before I become a billionaire.
Oh, I'm gonna try and help you do that.
Yeah. By working together, working the business.
Yes.
Yeah, we can accomplish big things.
So your biggest dream is what? What's your biggest dream?
To have enough that I have to worry about things. Have enough.
Now you say to have enough,
mm-hmm.
But remember there was a pastor once told us sometimes you have to be specific, because sometimes you say you have enough that you don't need anything, but you have enough to pay your bills, but you don't have enough to go on trips.
To be financially stable. To be financially stable, don't have to worry about things.
Okay. Well, I'm helping you with that process.
Yeah, we're working together.
Yeah, we were in that house today with all that mold in there.
Mm-hmm.
And your wife and I had to be in there with my galoshes and boots on. The basement had like 2 feet of water in there.
We can also help family members.
That's what you want to do also. You want to help family members.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to take all the debt away from my family members and pay everything off. That would be a wonderful gift.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to do that. So we're going to pray about that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right. So your turn. What we got, sweetie? All right. I hope you all get to enjoy this game that we do. We have these questions, and we want you to also have these conversations with your spouses or your mates or your significant other, and grow your relationship, because I think doing these cards have actually helped us to build on our relationship, even though we've been married almost 20 years. These cards and these shows that we've been doing is actually helping our relationship. Do you think that?
Mm-hmm.
You think so? And it's fun, So thank you to Ace Metaphor for creating these cards.
That's great.
I know, I love it. Hey, put your comments in the chat. Hey, if you want to ask us a question about our marriage, put it in the chat so we can talk about it tonight. Okay, and we're bringing it up on the screen here. Don't worry, we're okay with whatever questions you get. If we want to block a question, we will, though.
We have a choice.
We have a choice. All right, so let's go. What you got?
All right, here we go. Do you feel like I'm living up to my full potential as a person? Why or why not?
Do I feel you're living up to your full potential as a person?
Mm-hmm.
That is a great question for people who feel like their spouses or mates are not living up to their full potential. It's a great question. Now, here's how I'm going to answer that for my husband.
Mm-hmm.
I think that business-wise, my husband could be doing more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he knows that. I tell him that all the time, and that's just because I'm business minded all the time. Is he doing a great job? What he's doing now? Yes, but I would love to see him have more confidence in himself because he is, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to work more hours. I'm not telling you to do that. What I want you to know is that you are a great business owner. And I don't think sometimes my husband has a belief and confidence in himself that I know of him. What you think?
I guess sometimes I don't want to put too much on myself. I don't want to
Right.
be
Bogged down.
too much burden on myself. So I try to just limit
Yeah.
sometimes what I want to do. I don't
Yeah.
want people telling me what to do. I want to do
That's
what
absolutely.
I want to do.
And you're the boss, so nobody should be telling you what to do anyway. So I understand that. What I'm saying is when you go out with clients
Mhm.
and people, I want you to have the assurity that you're the one that owns that room. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know,
But sometimes, I'm just I'm a person pleaser, people pleasers and stuff like that. I always wanted to do something for somebody else. And I don't want to let somebody feel like they're less than or something like that. So I don't like to give bad news. I don't want to
he
bear
hates to
bad
give bad
news.
news.
So
He hates it.
I don't know how to say it or something, put somebody down or something like that.
But you're not putting them down. When we're talking about business, we're
Right.
saying, okay, if like, I guess you're referring to if we have to decline the tenant or something,
Yeah, if you gotta give them some.
or we have to call them because they haven't paid their rent, and we have to tell them, hey, the lawyers are coming, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, but that's part of your job, and that's not part of your job because it's a business. That's part of your business,
Yeah.
and so it's part that you have to do. But you have to find a way that you can do it in a comfortable way, but still understand that you're the boss. And what I'm saying is there are some people, some tenants that you may meet, and they will use your humbleness against you. And you've seen it where they will begin to try and talk down to you because he stays reserved. You stay reserved. And then when I come in, because I oftentimes have to be the mediator for the investors that he works with. So in situations that he can't handle any longer or doesn't want to handle, then you end up having to call me, right? And then I end up coming in like a bulldog.
Enforcer.
Enforcer. And so that tenant or that person that was previously yelling at him and barking at him and having him to the point where he just didn't want to have the conversation anymore. Now I come in and I don't have to bark but once. And so I understand that process. So you might just have to continue to transfer that part of your business to somebody else, that part to do. And we've got people,
I'm learning. I'm
lawyers
learning
and
to
staff to do that. Right.
Maybe
But you don't have to change who you are as a person.
I just have to be more affirmative.
And that's the word. That's the word. Affirmative. And I love that you said that. But it hurts his heart to have to tell some of these people, hey, be quiet.
I just either you're this way or you elevate to the next level. He says just either you get the good guy or you're getting the little guy that may be a little perturbed.
Yeah. And also we don't know, there's a lot of people that you don't know what they're going through. They may be going through a bad day, or they may be going through a bad circumstance, or they may never had anyone to sit down and talk to them. Like sometimes you have turned some tenants around when you talk to them and tell them, it's okay, just chill out, just be calm about the situation. And you've actually comforted them. And they've come to you and apologized and say, man, nobody's ever talked to me that way. Nobody's ever been that kind to me. Nobody's been that considerate, towards me. And I'm grateful that you've done that. Some people, and they come to him and they're grateful for that demeanor that you've had. Because you never know what somebody is going through in their situation, So you try, instead of calling the enforcer in, he tries to calm the situation down. And very grateful that he does that, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. What's one thing I could do to earn more of your respect?
Hmm.
I know, right?
I think you got my respect.
I think I
Yeah, I
do.
don't think you could do anything that you're not doing. I think you're right on point with everything
One thing
that's.
I can do to earn more of your respect. I don't know what type, what question, how this question would be. What's one thing I could do to earn more of your respect? This is almost for somebody who feels like they're not getting any respect.
Respect.
You know.
Respect. Isn't that a song?
Yeah, that's a song. That's a song. You're absolutely right. All right, let's go. What's the next one you got?
Okay. Hmm. Wow.
All right.
You got this one.
I got this one.
We talk about
Let's
it.
go.
From 1 to 10, how would you rate your level of communication? Explain.
Justin, look at that. You didn't even know that was in the questions. I had no idea that was in the question.
Mm-hmm.
From 1 to 10, how would you rate your level of communication? I'll probably say a 5.
Your communication is a 5?
I would probably say a 5 for me.
Really?
Because sometimes, like I was saying, I'm too direct. And some people, I'm really trying to help, and they may see my directness as being like hurtful sometimes.
I'm thinking maybe higher than a 5.
Really? What would you think my level of communication would be?
7 or 8.
Really?
Yeah, you communicate well.
Okay. So what do you think is good about my communication, and what do you think could use improvement in my communication?
I guess growing up, you communicated well with your family and people around you. You wasn't limited.
Okay.
You was I guess I would say that you had input in what went on in the family or something like that. You had input, so
I get
you
that.
learn. When I was growing up, you speak when spoken to. You can't you just can't come out and say what people you can't somebody say. Yeah, you have to just stay quiet. That's why I'm a little reserved now, because when I was small, you just don't come out and you say what what's on your mind or anything like that.
Wow.
You just have to just be a child and just listen and do what you're told to do. You just
wow.
But then that's the way it was maybe in the islands or something like that. You didn't have you couldn't have so much say so. But in America, what you say, freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Nowadays nobody's afraid to just hold their mouth. They just say anything they want to say.
Really?
But I think you had a good family, and and that's where it starts. You communicating.
Yeah.
You start with family. With
That's
your family.
right.
Yeah, just, I'd go in and be out with other people and be around other people.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see and do things. But when you're not allowed to do some things, then you just you would you kind of keep more reserve and say less.
Did it hurt you as a child growing up, not being able to communicate? Especially, were there times when you wanted to say something and you couldn't?
There's a lot of times you have to say something, even if you're right, and you try to explain. I don't want to hear it. Blah blah blah, and this and that.
And how hurtful was that?
Yeah, you got used to it. It was hurtful, but that's the way you grew up. So you didn't have too much say so in anything that you do. You do what you're told. So.
Mm-hmm. So that aspect is still there, and probably that's why there's a communication breakdown when the tenants start going at you a certain way and yelling and screaming, and maybe that's why you become a little more reserved.
Yeah,
it's taking you back to that place.
You go ahead and you speak. Okay, whatever.
Okay,
I'm not coming back at you with nothing much.
I get it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we had good family, and we still do. We have good family communication. We have open communication in our family. Our family is the type we could yell, fuss, and fight as long as we all get our voices out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we turn right back around and we're loving each other. But my mom and my dad, my grandparents, they always taught us, to speak.
Right.
Speak and get it out, have the conversation. And that's, within our whole family, even our family in Florida, the same thing. We're very vocal people.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we get together at family reunions and stuff like that, especially our family in Florida, we are so loud, and you would think we'd be fussing and fighting, but we're just conversating with each other. And my husband, when he walked in, he was like, at first he was nervous. He was like, okay, I don't know about this family. Y'all are too loud, and they act like they're about to fight. I mean, he was sitting there like a deer in headlights, looking at our family going back and forth. And I had to tell him, calm down, sweetheart. It's okay. We're not fighting. We are family. We are just communicating. This is the way we do it. But his family, again, like you said, was more reserved. They don't have that loudness, and they didn't have that, that vocal part.
Right.
So that is part of the communication. I'm glad you think I have a 7 or 8. It was because, we had a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
Now, what about that 2 or the other 2? What do you think I could do better for my communicating?
I mean,
well, you said I'm only like an 8, and so how would I be able to get to a 10? So there's got to be at least something that I could improve on. What do you think in my communication I can improve on?
Just keep doing what you're doing and just elevate yourself. That's so you'll become a 10. Just keep it,
But I need to know, what do I need to do to improve? Because normally if you're saying you're this, but you could be this. Is there something that I'm doing that's bad? Or
is there something that you do that you're
that's better?
That you say you're a 5?
Yes, it is. I'm abrupt. I'm working on the abruptness.
As long as you're not abrupt with me, it's okay. No, you can't. If something if I think you're getting a little too up, I'll I say mommy or something to that effect.
No, tell them what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what you say.
What do I say? Say abbreviated. You say,
that's it.
Cut it short, abbreviated.
When he doesn't want to hear anymore, and when he's like, okay, when I know my husband is frustrated, and when I know the anger is about to come, and that's another thing, ladies, learn your man, and men, learn your wives. They shouldn't have to go to the mode of fighting and fussing with you. There should be a signal that should come up like a traffic light. There should be a signal that comes up that you will see. And when you see it, you'll be like, okay, I know I need to reel it back. So when my husband does this, when he says this,
abbreviated.
When he says abbreviated, that lets me know he's done with whatever the conversation was. And I at first I would get mad. Remember, at first I was like, okay, now hold on now. Wait, who are you talking to? But I learned when he's saying that it's a mirror of what his mom used to say. His mom would tell them, hey, cut it short when she wanted things done, and she wanted it done right then and there. She didn't want no explanation about it. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? That means that's what abbreviated means. When you abbreviate something, you cut it short. And so when my husband does it, when he's done with the conversation, like if we're having I'm chatting and everything, and then he'll go abbreviate it, and I'm like, okay, he's done, But when he first started doing that, and I learned, because I had to ask him, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because another thing with communicating with your spouse, you need to not assume. Ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just take your assumption, because your assumption might be wrong. And now you got a whole nother argument.
All right.
So I asked him, what does that mean? And then he told me. He said, that means I don't want to hear it no more. I'm done with it. I'm done. I don't want. Then I went into, what you mean you done? So we had to learn that. So now when he does it, I know he's not trying to be offensive. I know he's not trying to be rude. But what he's basically trying to do is simply say, hey, I'm tired right now. I don't want to hear anymore right now. And he's not saying don't bring it up anymore. He's just saying right there at this moment, I'm just done with it. Yes, is that right?
It's an overdrive.
But we had to have that conversation so that we know. Now that's my signal. I don't think I have a signal for him. Because I listen to my husband all day, all night, because he rarely speaks. So when he does speak, I'm happy.
You say, well, he's speaking.
I want to hear. All right, we're just going to do a couple of more of these, and then we're going to be closing out. All right, so here's your question.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the most intimate? Wait, what would you say? This on the card. What would you say is the most intimate, non-sexual moment we have shared? I like that question. I almost got choked because I thought it was saying something else. What would you say is the most intimate, non-sexual moment we have shared? Because some men, they be like, oh, that time when we're not talking about that. It's talking about what is the most intimate, non-sexual moment we have shared.
Holding hands. Like today, we went on. We were talking about a couple of weeks ago. You said you missed holding hands while we go out and stuff. So
he listened.
So today we went out to the store and she had her hands in her pocket, and I put my hands out and said. So she said, "Oh,
I did."
Yeah.
I did. I was so excited. He listened and he acted on it.
Yeah.
And that's because we had that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when we go walking, early morning walking.
You love those?
Mm-hmm. And then when we go walking in the woods, something when we go walking in the park and we go through the woods.
You love
Mm-hmm.
Really? I thought it was just exercise.
No,
I didn't know that.
When we're doing stuff together, that's very important.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. Listen, and see, that's why we have to have these conversations. Because my thought process was, okay, in the morning it's time to go walking. So I'm just like, okay, let's go. I got to get this exercise in. Or either we'll go to the park and I'm like, okay, I'm in the woods with the bugs.
I'm kind of
excited. I never
excited.
knew it wasn't an intimate moment for him.
Because I know it's gonna enhance our health and stuff. So,
but also, I know it's going to enhance our health. But I'm so moved with emotions right now because you said that's your intimate moment. You could have named anything, but you named something that I was taking as simple. And now that I see it something intimate to you, I'm going to want to do it more. Yeah. I have not been motivated to really do it because I don't like exercising. But now that I know it's something that you love and you see it as an intimate moment that you share with me, I want to go in the woods now.
Watch out for deers and bears and all that stuff.
I want to go. Oh my God. Our morning walks is what you love?
When we get the opportunity to go.
We going tomorrow.
Yeah, we can go tomorrow.
I love that. This is why you have to have the conversation. So Justin says, this is a great show tonight. Great topics and energy. Communicating is so important. It is, Justin.
Sure is.
It is. I love that. I'm just so moved with awe that that's your intimate moment, non-sexual intimate moment. Oh, we going walking. We going walking. And kudos to my husband because he listened when we had that show a couple of weeks ago. And I said, I miss holding hands. And so when we were going, we were in the parking lot of Kroger, walking in the store. And I literally had my hands in my pocket like this because it was chilly out. And my husband reached back and he had his hands out and he reached back for my hand. And I said, oh my God. So I didn't care how cold it was. I took my hand out, grabbed my husband's hand, and we walked in the store and held hands. And it felt like we were first dating. Right?
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey, Carmen, how are you? So glad that you joined us. Carmen says she loved this. I love it too.
That's great.
I love it too. I love it. Carmen also has in the chats, well, y'all go ahead and walk in the woods then. Girl, I'm going. I ain't going to be afraid of the bugs no more. I'm in the woods. I love that. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. We love it. All right. So next one, we've got about 10 minutes left on here. So what do we got?
One. What specific part of me do you never want to change?
Your heart. I can say that quick.
Yeah.
Your heart. I never want you to change your heart. I never want you to change the person that you are. No matter what people may define you as, no matter what I may think, I want you to change as a person, even in business, whatever. I never want you to change your heart. I want you to always maintain that because that is who you are. And you have a good heart. You're a great man. You're a wonderful person. And I don't ever want you to try and be something or someone that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just instilled in you as a person.
Just be me.
I know, just be you. I love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was that good?
Outstanding.
I try. I'm not as romantic as my husband, really. Okay. Do you feel like I contribute equally to the household responsibilities? Explain.
Come on now. From the beginning, we have no problem contributing to the household.
I had no problem contributing to the household.
Yeah,
That's my thing.
Yeah, that's what
I do.
That's what you're born for.
Come on now.
Yeah, I have no problem for you. When
No.
you contribute everything that needs to be done, you don't have to tell you to do something. It's already done.
That's right.
It's already done.
I came in being a mover and shaker in this house.
Yes, he did.
And listen, I was not the one that said, "Listen, I'm just gonna sit home and no
watch TV,
no
watch soap operas."
I don't even know what soap opera is. I don't know. My thing when I came into this marriage, I said we are equally yoked. We are equally in this thing.
Yes,
and I'm gonna work just as hard as you work.
Never change.
That's right. Even when I was praying to be a rich, wealthy, healthy, prosperous housewife, it still didn't mean that I wasn't going to help my husband bring this money in.
That's right.
I'm going to help him run his corporation.
Amen to that.
Come on now.
Hallelujah.
Is it me or is it you?
Is it you, Lord?
I think it's your turn. Is it your turn? Yeah, it's your turn.
Is it mine?
Oh, it's my turn. It's my turn to tell you. All right. Fill in the blank. If we stay together for the remainder of our lives, it would be because of
our love for each other.
Yes.
A love for God, love for family.
Yes.
And respect for each other.
Right.
Can't beat that.
That's right. If we stay together for the remainder of our lives, not if we stay together, but while we are staying together, because we're not going nowhere from each other. That's one thing you have to put that confidence.
The love that we have for another.
I love that. Yeah. The love. And it is true. When you truly, truly and sincerely love someone, you would take them even with their fault, but you would help them to correct those faults in a loving way. That's a major difference. Instead of trying to have somebody be a robot. We're all human. We're not robots with one another, right? I love that.
Sure.
All right. We got Chime for 2 more. Is it your turn or my turn? Here I go doing my husband's thing.
You asked me.
I asked you. My husband always laughs at his questions. So
you say, is there anything in our relationship that you haven't forgiven me for? If so, how can I earn that forgiveness?
It's a great question for people who have unforgiveness in their heart for their spouse. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Or fortunately, I don't have any. So I don't even have a question. I don't even have an answer for that.
Right.
There is nothing that my husband has done that I hold any unforgiveness for. There's nothing. He hasn't. I don't think you've even done anything in this relationship that would say you need to be forgiven for.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I think that's because we both care so much for each other.
Yeah, we respect each other.
That's the word. We respect one another.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. But if you have that going on in your relationship, when you ask the question to your spouse or your significant other, then what you really want to do is listen to their answer and respect it.
Right.
Don't go into the arguing part. Right. All right. Who would you say started our biggest fight?
Who would you say?
Explain. These are not questions for us.
You never had a big fight.
Thank you.
I don't know what fight is all about.
We don't know what the fight is.
I don't know fight.
We don't allow people to come into our marriage and start mess.
Right.
We don't allow that. We don't even have a door for that in our relationship. How people say you opened that door? We don't even have a door for that.
Said no fight zone.
No fight zone over here. No, sir. And again, I wouldn't allow someone to come in my relationship and say or do something, to my husband that's going. started. If anything, I'm gonna fight with you for trying to bring the mess over here. But I'm not about to fight with the man that I gotta sleep with at night. No.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
Yes.
I really have to go through some of
These questions.
Yeah,
Some
that's people might think, oh yeah, right, but
it's the truth.
Yeah, we don't.
It's no sugarcoating over here. I know we have different disagreements. We have arguments. But I remember when your sister Dimple came over and she, she visited us a couple of times. And one thing that Dimple said when she came on this last trip with your sister Elaine, what did she say?
Compliment us on our marriage.
Yeah. And one thing she says, you guys are the same always. She said, I never heard you guys yell at each other. And that was such a compliment. She said, I never once heard you guys yell at each other. Have we gotten upset and had some disagreements? We have. Have we gotten to a point sometimes where, we felt like, maybe we were a little loud. Like I said, I felt like you were yelling at me, or maybe I yelled at you. I know there's sometimes I have yelled at my husband. I scolded myself because anytime I make my husband sad, that really breaks my heart. And I've had to learn how to come out of work and snap mode when it comes to my husband. I had to learn how to take a back seat. I had to learn that he is not my target. He is my protector. He's my shield. He's not, that's good, Holy Spirit. He is not my target. He's actually my shield of protection. So I can't continue to use my husband as a target. I have to remember that I have to place my husband in my life as my shield. And that helps me to get my life together. Right?
Sure enough.
Hey, Norma has joined us. Hey, Norma. She said, that's great. Thank you so much for watching, Norma. I love it. Norma and her husband are wonderful, wonderful people. All right, let's take one more and then may have two because we've got a couple of minutes here on the show. I hope you all are enjoying the show. And again, we do this show so that we can inspire some couples out there with their relationship. And you don't have to be a couple to watch the show. You could be someone who's looking for that relationship and you want to have some tips and know, what to do. Sometimes, a lot of times we're looking at the other person to change or to come in perfect, but we may have some flaws ourselves that we may need to get rid of. And so this show and these shows that we do, our Happy Marriage Lifestyle, is so that once you get in that relationship with that person, that you would also be able to have this happy marital lifestyle, or happy lifestyle. If you choose not to get married, is perfectly okay. All right. But just have a happy relationship. I love it. All right. What you got?
All right. Here we go.
Oh boy, that means a good one. All right. Here we go.
You said, do you want to have more children with me? Why or why not?
Oh my God, you asking me or you want to ask you? You want to ask me or should I ask you that question? Okay, now I need to ask that question. All right. Do you want to have more children with me? Why or why not? I would love to have more children with my husband. And here's the reason why. My husband, when he married me, I had 2 children from a previous marriage. And my husband took those 2 children on as his own. They were little.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are, our son, I think, was about 4, something like that. And he's now 24. He's 24 now. 23.
Something in there.
Something in there. I know my poor son, he's going to be like, Mom. And so my husband does not have any children, natural birth of his own. He does not have any of his own children. And so that is something that he always wanted. He always wanted to have children. And me, that was one of the first conversations we had when we started talking to each other. Mm-hmm. I cannot have more children.
Right.
And I felt bad as a woman at first. But I had really difficult pregnancies. And so after my son was born, my doctor recommended that I have a tubal ligation because they could not guarantee my life safety if I were to get pregnant again. Both my children were induced. I never carried either of my children full term. My daughter was born when she was, I think, 7 months. and my son was born. He was induced at 6 months. I praise God for a praying father. My dad, Edwin, prayed over me. He was at both of my children's birth, and he prayed, and neither of my children ever had to go to the NICU, what they call it. They never had to go to children, the facility or anything like that. They were perfectly healthy when they were born. Even though my son, when he was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck twice, and he was gray. But I'm sorry, my daughter it was wrapped around my daughter's neck twice, and she was gray when she was born. And even with my son, the amniotic fluid in my sac in my stomach was only half at the level. And so when they saw that, they could not get the fluid to come back up. So they ended up having to induce my labor so that my son would be born. And my son was 4 pounds, 13 ounces. My daughter was 6 pounds, 6 ounces. My son being 4 pounds, 13 ounces, they thought that they were going to have to put him in the NICU, I think it's called, or something like that. Or it's like, the facility where they take the kids and stuff like that, babies. But when he was born, and again, my father, Edwin, was there. When my son was born, my son was one of the healthiest babies that they had ever seen. And he was a fighter. He did not have to go anywhere. He was perfectly healthy. The doctors were amazed. They put him in the crib. At that time, the hospitals were flooded with people having babies, so they didn't have enough room. So the babies were sharing basins, the beds. They were sharing beds, and they put my son in a bed with a 10-pound baby. 10-pound baby. But because of the complications that I had with having the children, unfortunately, I had to have the tubal ligation, so I'm not able to have any more children. So I had that conversation with my husband when we first started communicating with each other.
Let me know that you can't have any more children.
Right. And I wanted to do that up front because I wanted him to know that this is the major thing that I'm dealing with, and I want to have that conversation with you up front. And so it hurt him. And he kept saying, well, God will open up the womb and you can have another kid and stuff like that. And we talked about adoption. We talked about a lot of that. Adoption did not go forward. We did not go forward with that. We decided that we would just love the 2 children that we have.
Yep.
And that's what we did.
That's it.
But I would have loved, truly, truly loved to have given my husband his own child.
Mm-hmm.
But we were blessed beyond measures when my niece Michelle had her son King, and my husband was able to experience the birth of her son.
I was in the room.
He was in the room with her.
My head was like, oh boy.
Yes, they called us. They said, she was going into labor and she wanted all of us there. And the hospital would only allow 3 people, I think, to be in there during delivery. And so I chose to wait in the waiting room while my husband was in there with her mom and her husband, because I wanted my husband to have that experience.
Sure enough.
And my niece wanted him to be there. And so he was there for the birth of my niece's son, Baby King. And my niece shared Baby King with us from day one. And so he's been like his baby. And he helped raise him, and King would come to our house and we would spend months, when she went to Korea to visit her husband, King spent a month with us, and it was a joy. And so he did get that experience from birth up to now. So I love it. And then he got it again with Prince. Baby Prince, with King's baby brother, Baby Prince. So I want to thank my niece Michelle for sharing that experience with my husband. So God has a way of bringing things around for you,
enough.
So you can see it. And then there were times when King was here and my husband was so tired. He's like, when's his mom coming to get him? And I said, listen, you lucky you can give him back. But I'm sure he would say it would be different. But I would have loved to have given him a baby. But I thank God that my niece Michelle did that.
Amen to that.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Did you enjoy today?
Sure enough, did.
I enjoyed today. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed today, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. And remember, like we said at the top of the show, just because it's a happy marriage does not mean that it's a perfect marriage. But we want you all to enjoy a happy marriage as best as you can. Okay. I love you guys. Love on one another, care for one another, let others know that you care. And why don't you do this? Why don't you think of something sweet and special that you can do for your significant other, your spouse, this week? Plan something nice, even if it's just going to the store, getting a bouquet of flowers, and bringing it home with a card, giving it to your spouse to just let them know that you love them and that you still care.
Amen.
How about something like that? All right.
Mm.
Thank you all for joining. We look forward to you guys joining us again next week.
Yeah.
Hey, share this video with others, okay? All right. Anything else you want to say to the people?
Have a blessed weekend.
Have a blessed
Stay safe.
Stay safe out there.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Same time, same channel.
Same time, same channel. Click like, click share, click subscribe. All right. We'll go up this laughter Norma giving us kisses and everything. We love you, Norma. Thank you so much.
All right now.
Share this channel. Okay. We love you guys. On three.
On
1,
three.
2, 3.
Bye.
Bye.